Welcome to the Raising Kingdom Warriors Montessori Christian Homeschool Preschool curriculum. So this is weeks 1 and 2 of month 1, where we are looking at the story of creation. Now I'll go through and show you guys everything on the shelf, but this is everything we need for weeks 1 and 2, minus one thing that I'll show you. So right here, this is something that's not included in the curriculum, but something that I love to do with my kids. This is a Betty Lukens felt board, and we tell the story as many days as possible with the felt figures. So they had set this up, and I left it up to show you guys what it looks like, and they play with it all the time. But it really makes the Bible story even more hands-on. So our sensory Bible devotional cards are in our Bible time that we don't do with our shelf work, but we do in our morning time with our Bible basket. So the basic layout of our week is we do a devotional card with our morning time, and then we do one of the Bible learning trays. And then we do either shape or color, math, which for the first couple weeks are the number rods. And then we do a language activity, and we do sensorial. And so under here, I have the knob cylinders. I have them pushed back like that because my toddler likes to put the little pieces in her mouth. Well, not toddler, baby. She's 10 months. And then here I have, so I'll just go through and show you everything. So here are the presentation cards. I have them opened up to what presentation that we're working on, but we can keep record on the back. I keep record elsewhere, but I have these just in case I need to make a note on the fly. I have those printed out and ready to go for the sensorial and math work that is on the shelf. So Bible, we tell the story with the figures, and then we have our Bible learning trays. So day 1, pin poking, and they have been working on this. And they're still working on it. So the goal is to pin poke the circle all the way out. And they're still working on that. I put that pin all the way back. If my baby was a little bit older, I'd probably have to take it off the shelf and have them ask me for it. But she doesn't get to it yet. And then here we have the God separated the sky and the water. So they put the white cotton balls in the sky and the blue in the water. All of my children, even my 7-year-old, loves that. I have landform, and I don't leave the Play-Doh out and the trays that we make the landform cards with, but I do have their option that they can make their own color color and trace and staple together their own landforms booklet. So that's day 3. Day 4, there's a wheel that goes with this that's not out, but they like to sort daytime and nighttime activities, and there's a control of error on the back. They've already gone through this a few times this week. Here, there's scissors on the tray up here, and I also have general supplies with scissors. I don't leave them this low on the shelf, but they cut apart. This is day 5. God created the fish in the sea and the birds in the air, and they can cut apart and sort fish and birds. So those are just cutting strips for day 5. And then here we have another tray. We have cursive and print matching, but you can use print if you use print at home. And they just take the card and they find the beginning sound that matches up the very first sound. And they match all those up. And then for my 4-year-old, she can go ahead and trace the words and staple them together and make a little book if she wants to. That is there for her. And then also they can put the beginning sound cursive letter next to the print letter, but that could also be print. And then here, day 6, God created, so that's day 6. God created animals and people. And we have work here that they put the puzzle together, and then I help them find out, name, and find all of the body parts. Okay, so that is Bible learning trays. Usually there are only 3. So for these 2 weeks, there are 7. So that's kind of a lot, but you know, that's creation, and there are 7 days. So I did a tray for each day. Well, 2 trays for day 6 and not a tray for day 7. So then we come up, so that was the first column is always Bible. The second column of our shelf, we either have, so here's their memory verse for the 2 weeks that we're working on. So again, my 4-year-old can copy this. If I had 2 children or more, I would have as many copies here as I have children, or even as many clipboards, and they could each have their own clipboard to copy that and keep it. Or at least a couple clipboards, depending on how many kids you have working. So these are the presentation cards for math and sensorial that I can pull when I need them. Here I have our shape tracing, but I have decided this go around to only keep out either color or shape. And in this case, I have just color out right now. So there's a red stamp, there are red pictures, and here is the red book that when they make a page, whether it's with the circle inset and the red crayons or the red pencils, or if they just cut and paste pictures, they can add it into their book. And when they're all the way done, they have as many pages as they want of red things, they can staple it together. And they can decorate the front or ask me to write their name on the front. And that's our red book. The circle book is similar, and I'll show you guys that in the next video, where they put all of their circle insets, drawings and circle pictures into another book. So I have 2 books there because I have 2 children in this age group working on the materials. So our number rods are over here. There's a DIY version of number rods in the curriculum packet in the download, and I've used those before, and I've pasted them on top of foam board and cut them out. So you can also get a pretty inexpensive set of tabletop number rods that would very easily fit right here, and they're just much smaller than the full size. And then we also have sandpaper numbers in these couple weeks. And then I have our sound group for the month. So this stays the same all month long. And they learn 4 letter sounds at a time. The first sound group is SMAT. So we have sandpaper letters and miniature objects. So apple, turtle, and there's more in there. We have bingo, and this shouldn't be in there. I kind of have these out of order, but that's okay. Where did it go? Okay, that goes in there. So we have bingo, we have my letter sound adventure, and the game board is down here. This is the movable alphabet, but right now you can see I kind of put like a really shallow shelf there. Hi, Mitzi. And then, so we have my letter sound adventure. So in here we have clip cards, a clip, we have the sound book and tracing, and these I laminated, and they can be used with a dry erase marker, which is in here. Then picture cards and letter cards and word building cards, and with the movable alphabet letters that they need in here. Starting with the second sound group, I really do have to use the movable alphabet box, but what I like to do is remove any letters that my child hasn't learned yet, so only add in the letters that we've worked with. It just makes it easier as more of a control of error and like less overwhelming. So these cursive ones are a little big, but it still works. So we have Matt, and I have a control of error that I wrote on the back. If they want to check, most of the time they just have fun building, and that one's sat and the letters are in there. Okay, and then I also have, for my older child, if I was just doing this with my 2-year-old, I have a 2.5-year-old working and a 4.5-year-old working, I probably wouldn't even have these word building cards as an option yet. And I definitely wouldn't have the readers out yet. But since my 4.5-year-old's working alongside her, I have this work out too. So in the curriculum, it'll tell you what Bob books out of just that first set of Bob books that correlates with the curriculum. And it is books 1 and 2. So if you haven't seen these, they're just adorable. Beginning sounds for book 1. And then very simple. Now, if your child is not ready to read, or if you can't seem to make the jump from building words to reading, I would suggest maybe your child's not ready, or you may want more formal instruction and you may want to go look up the Pink series. And I have a Pink, Montessori Pink series reading workbook in my shop that also corresponds, if your child's really ready and you want a lot of materials in order to teach reading at the same time as you're teaching word building and all of these other letter activities, or maybe your child's older, so she's ready or he's ready, that would be a good place to start, because the first unit you only need to have gotten through 2 letter sound groups and you're ready for the Pink series unit 1. But that is all on the website, so you can get to it there. And then lastly, Missy wants to play. We have the cylinder block. So normally I have these kind of sticking out. There's 4 of them back there. Normally I have them sticking out, and so they're a little more inviting. But my baby, my 10-month crawler, she likes to pull on the small knobs, and she won't get to them if they are exactly how I have them arranged right now. But they are there for work. And if you read in the blog post associated with this video, you can look at our schedule and how I introduce one activity for each section in about an hour. It takes us to go through this. Actually, a lot of time it's even less than that. But, and then my children have free reign to play or to continue working. If you look over here, we have our work rugs. So it's just a single shelf, and this single shelf is what I'm going to use for every single month of the year 1 curriculum. So whatever doesn't fit here gets booted out. So as soon as we have math that fills up that top shelf, it's going. And then there'll all only be 1 sound group in here, but all of the games build upon each other, so it actually will fit a lot of review sounds. Same thing with the word building cards. And then for the second 2 weeks of month 1, this will change. This work will change to circle work instead of color work. And these 3 shelves will change to 3 different activities that go along with the second Bible story. So there's 1 Bible story that remains the same for 2 weeks, and it just gives the children so much time to get acquainted with that story, to remember it, to tell it over and over again. And if you didn't have this felt board, you could put your Bible basket there with your Bible cards, and your children you could even string them up along over your shelf. So lots of options. I'm just keeping it really simple for this year because I tend to overcomplicate things, but when I make it simple, it's much more doable, and I find that I'm more successful, less stressed out, and the kids are happier. If you have any questions, please let me know, and go ahead and read the associated blog post so you can learn a little bit more about our schedule and what we're doing and the rest of the curriculum if you're curious.